A lot of questions in the studio, on the text line, in the Twitch chat about Johnny Yodel's big scoop. So we'll get to that in just a little bit.
Funny you mentioned Drake's Cakes makes a phenomenal brand new Boston cream yodel. Get it at Shaw's.
Yeah,
I know you have some.
I have a lot of questions.
You have a lot of questions.
I just want to make sure James is all right.
What?
Because Curtis's lead, I was like, whoa, wait a second. This is a complete 180 from last week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, did somebody kidnap James that we don't know about? And said, hey, make sure you say some glowing things. Because I said this last week. I was like,
you mean like it's like the Mel Gibson movie,
yes,
like Ransom? Like
give me my son back. You must
Curtis
first say something good about Robert Kraft.
I mean, it is a complete turnabout. I mean, he had he and Ken had Wickersham on the show Saturday.
Yeah. And I said this last week. I was like, well, listen. I was like, and I don't know if you remember, Courtney, but I was like, wait a second. I'm not buying this. So you're telling me that Wickersham is telling us that Kraft called out the blank and was like, hey, you can't trust this guy. And I'm like, well, and then everybody's like, well, it's Wickersham. He's like 100% when it comes to his scoops.
I mean, 508 texter says, Curtis, could the person who leaked all this info to you have an agenda, perhaps?
A spoiler alert. Everybody has an agenda. Everything you hear is because somebody wants you to hear it a certain way. That's the world we live in.
I'll also say whoever is whispering to you should maybe space out who they're whispering to and the timing in which they do so, because Tommy Curran and Phil Perry said the same exact thing that you were saying this morning.
Really?
Yesterday.
Wow, I did not know that.
About the Diana Rossini article.
See, the Diana Rossini thing is, I mean, Curtis has great intel.
Right.
So if he is going to come on this radio show and say Jonathan Kraft does not have an expanded role when it comes to football and the draft, then I will buy that your source is spot on this. But it is, I mean, it's...
If Diana Rossini has it, it's different than if Schefter has it. And
Yeah.
to say that the Patriots want a quarterback is to say that I wish I had hair. Like,
no, I
of course
understand
they
that.
need a quarterback.
Because
but in the absence of Bill, the role of the ownership should not change. Like they are not football people, and so if you're going to listen, I was whispered to recently as well.
There's a lot of whispering going on.
And
here.
so I just want to be careful, because I think a lot of the negativity that is out there about Bill is coming from one person. So in that organization. So if you're going to tell me that Jonathan is not involved when it comes to, not more involved when it comes to football, then I'm okay with it. I'm going to take you at your word. You know?
I'm the youngest boy.
I am going
But do
to
we
take
believe
you,
that?
Well played. Well played.
I'm going to take you.
Do we believe that? Because I think Jonathan, as well as Robert, might have some input now, because they told us it's going to be collaborative, right?
He might have some.
I'm the youngest boy.
Let's just read Diana Rossini's actual report. The Patriots are listening and taking calls from teams looking to move into 3. It would be a news story if they didn't take a call about somebody offering them something.
Well, yeah, Schefter said the exact same thing, basically.
Right. And then the next sentence, while Elliott Wolf is running point, i.e. running the draft, I'm told President Jonathan Kraft is heavily involved in the decision-making. I believe that if they were to trade out of 3, that it would have to be a damn good deal that they would talk to ownership about, which would normally be the case anyway. If the team hasn't picked a 3 in like 30 years.
Usually ownership, you talk to them and say, with Bill, based on what we feel like we knew, is Bill would say, here's what we're doing, ownership.
Do you think the McCaskey family knew that they were going to trade Justin Fields and then take Caleb Williams with the Bears?
They
Yeah.
probably knew about it, yeah.
Okay, so that's
But
what
they're not directing it. That's the
Right.
difference.
But if they said no, they wouldn't have traded him. They own the team.
So they
Well, who do you think wanted Mac Jones?
I
Bill
think
didn't.
right.
I think that it was a perfect storm where Bill didn't think he'd get to 15. He got to 15, and Bill took him, knowing that it's what the organization wanted. They needed to improve at the quarterback position because Cam Newton was such a fiasco.
But didn't Bill want to trade him before the start of this year, and that got poo-pooed?
Yep.
Right. So I believe that Jonathan and Robert, even when Bill was here, and maybe that's what led to a little bit of friction, especially later, in these past couple of years, is that they wanted to be more involved in the sense where
In
they're
football.
in football,
Not in the craft group.
not in the crowd, in football stuff. Hey, like now I feel like, or even when, no, we're not, Bill, I know you want to trade him, but we're not going to do
Or
that.
maybe we haven't thought about this. Maybe the issue was Bill wanted to be more involved in the paper company.
I mean, talk about a power struggle. What about Shiv?
Maybe Bill was asking them repeatedly what type of trees are being felled in order to make paper.
Right. Maybe they didn't do enough recycling.